Hi everybody, and welcome to Families Are First Teachers. It's a video series designed to support families who are supporting learners at home. Presently, many families are finding themselves having to help their children navigate remote schoolwork. Some caregivers say they are feeling like substitute teachers for their own kids these days. However, what we know about families is they are children's first and often best teachers. These short videos are designed by experts in curriculum and instruction, behavior, and special education from Summit Educational Service Center and State Support Team Region 8, with the goal of empowering family members for the new teaching roles they find themselves in. Hi, I'm Mary Lynn Mack, and I'm an occupational therapist for the Summit Educational Service Center. This session will be on embedding sensory strategies throughout your daily life. We will go over the 8 sensory systems that provide a person to engage in everyday activities, how to address sensory needs, explain commonly used sensory terminology, and obtain awareness of sensory processing challenges. So, how many sensory systems are there? Usually when we're younger, we learn about 5, right? Well, there are 8 sensory systems. And the ones we don't usually learn about are interoception, vestibular, and proprioception. The 5 that we usually learn about are the external senses. So it's that touch, vision, hearing, taste, smell. But the ones that we don't always know are those internal senses: vestibular, proprioception, and interoception. The first one we'll talk about is our vision. So it's the retina of the eye, and it's stimulated by light. And we gain information from our environment about objects and persons. People who seek visual input, you may see them staring at spinning objects. They may love flashing lights. They may feel at ease in a cluttered environment. On the opposite end, if somebody is avoiding visual input, they may demand to wear sunglasses indoors. They may have a lot of trouble with a lot of fluorescent light. They may give no eye contact to someone's face, or may need to look away when someone's talking in order to process what they're saying. So some things that you can do to help these individuals, especially the individuals that are overstimulated by visual input, is limit the amount of visual material hanging from the ceilings or walls. Instead of having a big cluttered shelf, organize those materials in boxes and label those boxes either with words or pictures. When you have a worksheet, make sure the worksheet is very simple and clear and concise compared to one that's really busy. Also, maybe have a lamp instead of an overhead fluorescent light. That could help somebody that is overstimulated by visual input. The next system is our interoception system. So it provides us information about the internal condition of the body. So it's all of our internal organs. It's how we know we're hungry, we're thirsty, or we need to go to the bathroom. Interoceptive awareness is the ability to notice that body signal and then connect it to meaning. So how we know we need to go to the bathroom. Or right now, with COVID going on, how we know we're starting to get sick. Are we having a chill? Is our stomach starting to hurt? Are we getting a headache? Connecting those signals to meaning can help us know that something's not right. People that have poor interoceptive awareness may go an entire day without drinking any liquids. Or they may eat until they get that tight feeling in their throat, and they may not get that fullness feeling right away. You also might see someone explode with anger because they don't feel the progression of getting slightly anxious, maybe slightly frustrated and angry, and then all of a sudden they explode. They don't feel that progression. It's just all of a sudden they explode. They're not able to regulate themselves back down when they're starting to feel amped up. So some things you can do is you can set a reminder, an alarm, such as getting a drink of water at certain parts of the day, or there's potty training watches that'll set an alarm for how many times to go to the bathroom. Things like social narratives for daily routines are really important, or providing visual supports when you're struggling with different routines. The next is auditory or hearing. So this provides us information such as whether a noise is loud or soft, high or low, but most importantly, dangerous or safe. Somebody that's avoiding auditory input may run from a loud area. You may see them covering their ears or putting their fingers in their ears to reduce that auditory input. Someone that's seeking it may be humming or singing to themselves or making noises to themselves. When everybody's eating at a dinner table, if everybody is talking, they may be overstimulated, but are fine when one person is talking. So some stuff you can do is minimize verbal directions, keep the conversation very clear and concise so they can follow along and aren't overstimulated by all those words. Use earplugs or noise-canceling headphones. Social stories, especially when you know something is coming up. An example is like a fire drill, so they can prepare their body for that big noise. Or desensitize to an area by slowly integrating them to that noisy environment over numerous visits. The next is our vestibular system. So this system is all about movement. It's our inner ear. It's stimulated by our head movements. The function is to know where our body is in space and distinguish our surroundings are moving and the speed and direction of that movement. So somebody that seeks vestibular input is deemed a thrill seeker. They would love a roller coaster, a slide, a swing, moving constantly. They have trouble staying seated. And on the other hand, if somebody is overstimulated by vestibular input, you may see them constantly leaning their head on their hand. Try it for a second. You can see that really steadies the head and it reduces that vestibular input. These people also might get seasick or car sick very easily. That's vestibular system. So some ideas that help regulate that is giving them heavy work activities, having shovel snow or lift a heavy book or have a heavy weighted backpack. Slowly moving from extreme positions if they're really sensitive. And allowing frequent breaks throughout the day so they slowly get this vestibular and movement input instead of getting it all at once after sitting for a long period of time. The next is our tactile system, touch. So we have cells all throughout our body, and it helps us get information about object qualities and our environment. People that are seeking tactile input, you may see them running their hand across the wall while they're walking. They may like to touch everything that they see. On the other hand, if they're avoiding it, they may not like certain fabrics. They're always itching their tag. They may not like getting their hands or feet messy. And some things that we can do is we can experiment with different types of clothing that are comfortable. Sometimes they have very soft fabrics that that person that is avoiding this input can actually feel comfortable in. Also, when a student says that their touch hurts, make sure to respect that and acknowledge that, because sometimes they are so sensitive in their tactile system that certain touches, especially ones that are unexpected, can actually have a pain response. Our olfactory system, or smell, provides us information about all the different types of smell in our environment. And our gustatory system, taste. We have all these different chemical receptors on our tongue, and it provides us information about whether something is sweet, sour, bitter, salty, spicy, umami, all these different tastes. So gustatory and olfactory go together. If you notice that when you have a cold and your nose is plugged up, you taste things less. They work together. They're very closely related. So somebody that is overstimulated by taste, maybe they won't eat certain foods. They'll gag when even told to eat in certain food, or they're in the same room as that smell. On the other hand, you may have somebody that just eats everything and they want to taste everything, or they put everything to their mouth. For smells, maybe they're breathing through their mouth instead of their nose to reduce that input, or they don't like to go in certain environments that have that strong smell. Some things you can do for smells especially is let them explore different smells with a scented lamp or candle or lotions. Make sure it's a trial and error basis though. Some smells might be good for some and might be bad for others. So make sure to carefully introduce smells and taste one at a time, and don't overwhelm the person you're working with. Proprioception. Proprioception is all of that deep pressure input in our joints. It's all activated by all those muscle contractions and movement of our body. So it provides information on where our body parts are and how they are moving. So the sense of position and movement of the body. It's how I know I'm sitting in a chair right now. You can feel the joints in your body and that pressure. Somebody that's seeking proprioceptive input may be pulling or twisting. They may push too hard, or when they're writing, they may be write too soft or write too hard. They may stand too close when talking to others, or walk stiff and uncoordinated. Some things that you can do is help engage them in up and down movements, jumping, bouncing a ball, help wake their body up. Allowing them to chew on crunchy or chewy items can get that deep pressure in the jaw. Sometimes just squeezing their hands and pulsing their hands, or having them do it to themselves, can really give you that deep pressure proprioceptive input. So with each of these systems, we are regulating ourselves throughout the entire day. We always want to try to stay in that optimal state of arousal, right? We call it our homeostasis state. It's where we feel like we're functioning, we're able to learn, we're able to function in our environment. Well, a lot of people that have trouble regulating themselves sometimes fall in the low or high arousal state. So when someone is low in a certain area, they're seeking input. Say they're low in their proprioceptive system. Maybe they're jumping up and down, always moving, trying to get that input. They're seeking proprioceptive input. On the other hand, if you're up in the high and avoiding, maybe you don't want to be touched. You are oversensitive to sound, so you need noise canceling headphones, or you put your hands in your ears to try to help your body get to that homeostasis state. So look at this room and think about how you would feel if you were one of these students. Maybe a heating and AC unit is going on and off. There's noise in the room. Music is playing next door. Kids are playing outside the window. Another student is yelling. There's artwork on the ceiling. The teacher's wearing a really strong perfume. The other teacher is talking in the front of class. There's smells in the hallway. Tags on your clothes are itching you, all while not knowing the answer to the question the teacher is trying to get you to answer. These kids are regulating themselves, and if you have trouble regulating your systems, you may see outbursts, you may see dysregulation. So try to think about where that student is at in order to help them. So we all have our own personal sensory systems. We all have our own preferences, wants, needs, and likes, and we are able to regulate our systems throughout the day. People that have trouble with this, you need to meet them where they're at. Try to look at what's going on. How are they behaving? Are they seeking proprioceptive input, deep pressure, or are they avoiding it? Try to think about what's happening, what they're doing, and then give them positive experiences and positive things to do in order to get that input in an appropriate way. So here are some of my references. Again, my name is Mary Lynn Mack. If you want to contact me, here is all of my contact information. And that concludes this module on embedding sensory strategies throughout your daily life. Thank you for joining us. If you found this video helpful, you can find additional ones just like it on the Summit ESC YouTube channel. Just visit YouTube and search for Summit ESC. There you'll find additional brief videos on self-care and social emotional needs, supports for diverse learners, developing a growth mindset, and academic context supports. We hope these videos provide some new ideas, resources, and tips for supporting your learners at home and in life. Thanks, guys.